Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. We're on the test server. You'll see why in just a minute. But I'm making this video because we have just heard from Plarium that they are going to be doing a guaranteed champion event tomorrow for none other than the epic champion Allure, who's the floaty demon lady that's on the middle of the right hand side, who just took a turn right there. And she is going to be tomorrow for 30 ancient shards. This is, of course, tying in with the Call of the Arbiter episode, which is coming out tomorrow, which will feature, well, Allure, obviously enough. So that's what's going on. What are we doing here in the background? This background is showing her in one of her best areas, which is the Fire Knight, right? This is stage 25 of Fire Knight normal, and you can see that we're using a team of all epics, and yeah, we should be able to do it in pretty good time. The reason that Allure is so good is that her A1, you'll see the turn meter control coming out here, and bearing in mind, of course, that on stages 21 and above, right? And for all of hard mode, well, hard mode is different, but for stage 21 to 25, this boss takes 50% reduced turn meter reduction, so it's not fully effective. It's even more effective on lower stages. Her A1 is a triple hitter, and each single hit, if it crits, does 25% turn meter reduction. That's 75% total. And obviously then, if that's half, what's half of 75? Well, that's quite difficult. I know, 37.5, I think, hopefully. If I'm totally wrong, you can correct me down below. So it's a ton of turn meter. It's actually the best turn meter reduction A1 in the game, because you can do it every single turn. Now, actually, as a matter of fact, in this particular run, we do not have any presets set up. We're just letting everybody do what they want. You could probably smooth this out and make it better if you did have presets. But she is extremely good for this. The reason we are on the test server is I want to see how Newt does in comparison, because that's the big concern. There we go, 2 minutes, right? A 2-minute farm of Fire Knight normal stage 25. Pretty good, right? Just using epic champions. Now, obviously, we've got, a lot of the most wanted epics in the game, that the top tier epics, of course. There's other variations. You could probably use like a Stag Knight and stuff like that instead of Deacon, for example. You could probably make that work. So there's other stuff going on there, but yeah, that's how Allure does. So about 2 minutes. But is Newt better, or is Newt comparable? I mean, let's see. Again, we're just going to throw them in. They're both around the same speed in this particular run. I'll show you all the gear at the end if you're curious about the gear. But both Newt and Allure, I think, are running at around 270 speed. And I'm curious to see how they go. So one difference is Newt does an AoE weaken, so he one-shot the first wave. But Newt on his A1, it's the second best A1 in the game for turn meter control. He does 3 hits of 15% compared to Allure, who has 3 hits of 25%. So Allure has 75% total turn meter reduction. Newt has 45% total turn meter reduction, but it's still extremely good. Again, my main issue with this, I've got 2 big questions. Number 1, do you need Allure if you have Newt? And number 2, is does Newt totally replace Allure, or does Allure do the job better? So that's what we're going to see after this particular run. Obviously, I kind of know already. So we're getting to the boss in similar time. So this is one thing you might want to turn off with Newt, right? His A2 is only a single hit, so it's not going to help us taking down that shield. That could be a bit of a problem. We haven't got any turn meter reduction right there. Let's see what we get. Deacon. Royal Guard, he's not landed any. We get a speed boost. Here goes Newt. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Good bit of turn meter pushback right there. That's definitely nice, definitely needed. And some of the masteries are helping out as well. Those are masteries on the A1s helping out. We could have the same thing on Royal Guard. That would help. But yeah, Newt, he's gone in with the A3. That could be a problem. That could be a problem because he has not pushed the turn meter back of the boss. So that's something that might go a bit wrong. He's actually put on the weaken. He hasn't put on decreased attack, and we've got smacked. So you can see the turn meter control not quite as good. If we turned off his A2, it would be a bit better. So we'll run him again, turning that off. But just by default, he's actually pretty close. As you can see, he's pretty close, and they are actually going to do it. He actually missed his decreased attack just with bad luck right there. But you can see, if we had decreased attack on this boss, even if he crit us, decreased attack would stop it from killing us. But we're going to come in with a similar time despite getting the shield back up. And we're looking actually kind of all right. So it's pretty close. We'll run it once more, turning off Newt's A2 on the boss, seeing as we don't need the weaken. And if the boss doesn't take a turn, the counter attack and the decreased attack won't help us. Let's do it one more time, turn that off, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I will say, my opinion, I can tell you right now as we watch the second run. Allure versus Newt. Obviously, there's multiple bosses this affects. The biggest one would be the Dark Fae as well. So the Dark Fae is a really big question mark, okay? I do think that Allure has better turn meter control for the boss, right? She is going to be better. So if you have worse gear than me, which you probably do, Allure does more turn meter control and is probably going to be a little bit better. But Newt is extremely good. You can also run them together on the same team, and that can be extremely good. So it becomes a question of 30 ancient shards. If spending 30 ancient shards would make you potentially miss Newt, there's absolutely no way I would do it. There's not a chance. We've actually done it faster this time. Not a chance. If I would miss Newt to get Allure, no chance. But if I can get both of them, that could be somewhat worthwhile, right? Dark Fae is certainly a tricky one. I can't test that, unfortunately. It's not on the test server, so I can't actually test out her and Newt together. At least I don't think it's on the test server. I should actually double check. This one should actually be quite easy. Royal Guard landed his decreased speed nice and early, though we did get one resist on Newt. Guess that's one thing. If Newt ever gets resisted on the turn meter control, you could potentially fall a good bit behind, right? He's not as good as Allure, so one resist could mess you up. But yeah, Newt's pretty exceptional for this too. So it's a fun one. Let me know what you're going to do. Also, yeah, let's let this one run out. Let's actually just watch it. Let's watch the whole thing so you guys can see. But man, like, that's the big thing that Newt does. Right? If you have enough speed and you don't need that turn meter control, boy, oh boy, that max HP hit, that does a lot of work. That does a lot of damage, huh? That does an awful lot of damage, and we've actually cleared through it faster. This is the fastest run of them all. 1 minute, 54 seconds. So Newt, if you've got enough speed, Newt's actually better. Less turn meter, but he will do the boss faster, this particular boss. And I would expect that, guys, to be the case just generally in the game. So it makes Allure less essential. But if you can afford to get her, I think she probably still is worth getting. It's only 30 ancient shards. It's not a big deal. But bear in mind, we've summon rushed this weekend. And then the following weekend should be 2x sacred shards. You might need to use ancient shards for the champion chase and 2x sacred shards just to bolster up your numbers to make sure you can get Newt. I would not take the risk. I would absolutely be getting Newt. Let me double check here. Yeah, it's the wrong Doom Tower rotation, so I cannot test the Dark Fae. Another thing that we need to talk about is this right here, Prism crystals. Actually, let me get the Reddit post. Let me get this. Okay, here we go. This is the Reddit post, right, about these Prism crystals, which we actually can see on the test server. We have no official information from Raid. So this was just posted by a random Reddit user called NoClock2457. Said some data mined info on the Prism crystal thingies, okay? New summoning event. During a summon pool event, you can summon from a unique pool of champions. Each event will have its own unique pool of champions that can be summoned. Champions of the same rarity have an equal chance of being summoned. Prism crystals are required to summon champions from the Prism shard. When a summon pool event ends, any remaining Prism crystals will be used automatically and summoned champions will be sent to your inbox. If you do not have enough Prism crystals to summon a champion at the end of an event, you'll be able to use these remaining Prism crystals in future summon pool events. So what do we think? This, to me, sounds extremely likely. I think this is extremely likely. So basically, how this is going to work is very simple. It is a shard event that sort of forces you to pull shards. So let's say it's going to pop up. There'll be like a new Prism crystal over here, or maybe over here, a button, click Prism crystal, and I'll be like, okay, my hypothetical scenario would be, bam, this weekend, 3 days, the Prism crystal is up, right? And you need to get Prism shards to activate that crystal. You're going to get those shards from, I don't know, dungeon divers, artifact enhancement, all the standard stuff we do, right? Go earn those shards over the weekend, these shards, and then summon from the Prism crystal. And it's sort of like just a mini summoning pool. So they might say, for example, I don't know, it could be all turn meter control champions. And you just pull. I think what is interesting about this for me is that after the event ends, any unused crystals will be automatically used, so you can't really save them. It says you'll be able to use remaining ones if you don't have enough to summon a champion, but I mean, like, if there's rare champions in there, they're going to be so cheap to summon, this is not going to add up to much. I think basically the concept of this is, bam, there's a summon event on this weekend, you only have a few days to get the shard, effectively get the shards. That's what these crystals are going to be, these prism shards, to get these crystals and to actually do your summons. I think, honestly for me, this sounds pretty fun. It depends how big these pools are going to be, but you could have a pretty limited pool, and let's say you're able to, I don't know, earn up to like 20 summons over the weekend, or however many days it happens. I keep saying weekend, but we've got no idea. Right, let's say you get 20 summons, you get 20 chances to pull in this pool, and see if you get lucky. Yeah, honestly, I think it could be pretty fun. We'll see how much it ends up being. I'd imagine, obviously, they might sell these prism crystals as well, of course. So there is always that. But to me, it seems like quite a fun and enjoyable little mini event to look forward to. A different way to summon. They teased this as well in a recent interview that Scratch did with Cirilla. She talked about a new way to get champions, because they are aware that, you know, 10x events don't even make it super likely to get that champion. So they want to give you more ways. So this fits in exactly the idea of a limited pool, a limited time event where you can earn a new currency and use that new currency to pull from that limited pool in the event. It sounds to me super likely. We'll stay tuned for an official announcement on this. I'll obviously give you the info as soon as it's out. But yeah, that was what was data mined. And to me, that seems very reasonable, I would say. It seems really, really reasonable. So yeah, I would not be shocked. But yeah, let me know. What are you going to do in terms of the Allure? What do you think of these Prism Crystal events? This sounds to me quite fun. And Allure for 30 Ancients is actually, I still think it's decently worthwhile if you are really stuck on Fire Knight, if you are really stuck on Dark Fae. Allure is very good for both of those bosses. That being said, Newt is better. He's going to give you a faster team, although maybe not quite as safe a team, but Newt is 100% better than Allure, not even close. Allure is also really good for the Faction War boss too. It's kind of a tough boss. So yeah, I would get an Allure if I could, but not if it would put me in danger of missing Newt, right? If I'm anyway on the fence on Newt, I'm playing it safe, I'm saving my shards, I'm making sure I get him. Let me show you the builds that we used in this particular team here. So we had Archmage Helmet. He's coming in 237 speed and masteries. Seer with these masteries, and she was 200 speed. Royal Guard is quite quick, 245 speed. And these masteries. Newt, these masteries, and he was very quick at 272. In the vault, then we had Deacon and we had Allure. So Deacon was coming in, he was at 260 speed with these masteries, and Allure is coming in at, she's obviously not in as good a gear as Newt, but 276 with these masteries. So very similar speed to Newt, right? He was actually, 272. She is 276 in this particular build, but he's obviously built with way more damage and stuff like that. He's in much better quality gear than she is. But yeah, just to give you a direct comparison. Guys, thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed and found it helpful, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.